What up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the Brandon News Show, video podcast edition. You already know, video will be on my YouTube channel, Brandon News Show YouTube channel. Also on podcast platforms everywhere right now. My third episode of my new season 3 of Brandon News Show podcast. Third episode is out right now on podcast platforms. Go listen, enjoy. Subscribe, not follow, I guess, on podcast platforms, but subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like, comment, do it all. And hope you guys enjoy this video and the podcast episode. And let's get into it. This video is a point of view, random shit. If you know anything about my point of views or random shit, I say things and some people could view it as my point of view, or some people could view it as random shit. I'm just saying what the fuck my mind is thinking. I'm not really trying to give you a true point of view. I'm not really trying to give you any random shit, but depending on how this world is nowadays, this can go either way. So let's get into it. I don't know how to start this one, so I'm gonna just say this. Dave Chappelle. I know people are already like, oh shit. Dave Chappelle. So he finally finished his Netflix specials with his new special called The Closer. I hope he comes back to stand up. We need a Dave Chappelle in our lives to speak words that we wish we could say. I think a lot of people need that. I think he's one of the rare few people. He might be the last couple people in this planet that can say whatever and we would still defend it. Like, nah, like y'all not about to cancel Dave Chappelle, bro. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, man, Dave Chappelle, man. So I watched The Closer the first day it came out. I watched this shit and I was like, yo, this shit is really, really good. I watched it, laughed a lot, truly took a lot from it. Thought he was Dave Chappelle, pretty much. I don't know what the hell I can really say with that. Thought he was Dave Chappelle. Honest as hell. Telling you how he feels. And I think that's the beauty of it all. And again, like everything he does, it was controversial to some. And people got in their feelings. And again, like usual, like this generation does. We live in an oversensitive generation. We know this already. I think we live in a very oversensitive generation. I think everybody knows how oversensitive this generation is. We're not stupid. We know how this goes. But the one thing about this generation that everybody needs to understand is that we do agree with a lot of shit you guys are fighting for nowadays. We agree. We all for it. I've said numerous times on videos and even on podcast episodes, I'm with this new era of thought process. I think a lot of you guys nowadays are moving the needle way more than I thought anybody could move a needle, especially in the world that we live in, especially in this country that we live in. You guys have created a way to have a conversation about, gender equality and being inclusive for all. I respect all of that shit. You guys are marching. You guys are not just marching, but you guys have actions to the march, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But this is where I say all the time, this is where you need to slow your roll and pay attention to your elders. And they need to tell you, hey, certain shit, you might not have a leg to stand on. You might just have to just know your battles. Pick your fucking battles, man. Pick your battles. And this is where I feel like this is one of those moments you just pick your battles. You can't be mad about every fucking thing. As a very, I grew up on Dave Chappelle. I grew up on, of course, the first time I ever saw him was Nutty Professor. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows Nutty Professor when he played Reggie. You know what I'm saying? And then, Half Baked. I grew up on Half Baked. That was my shit. Even though the movie was like, to a lot of people it's like terrible, but it's one of the funniest movies to like. All my 420 people know what I'm talking about. It's one of those movies. And and then you go into, the Chappelle Show, which is like legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was literally, it's a lot of people that was like, their Richard Pryor show of this era, the era I grew up in. It was the Richard Pryor show. It was that Flip Wilson show. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a show that you truly remember where you were when you first started watching it, and then you remember where you were when they said that he's leaving. Like, and he has a lot of jokes in that special, man. But of course, everybody gets offended by, the jokes that he's always told. If you go to every special he's ever done, he's always had jokes about, the gay community, but more importantly, the white community. He's always had jokes about them. Like, what the fuck you thought the Chappelle show was about? What do you think? I think I was watching when he was getting like the Mark Twain prize on Netflix, which y'all can also go watch. And his best friend, who I also consider a legend and a GOAT, because if it wasn't for this man, maybe the Chappelle show wouldn't have been as impactful as it was. Neil Brennan. Neil Brennan is just as great as Dave Chappelle. If you've never seen Neil Brennan do comedy, you will be like, what the fuck was I missing out on? That's like, it's literally like Dave Chappelle just as a white guy. Like, it's like he just has no filter, don't give a fuck type of personality too. But Neil was on stage and he was talking about how the Chappelle show really impacted their lives, and he was like, man, Chappelle show is, I saw how Chappelle show was. It was a man, a black man, talking about how he views the world in such a different space. He was like, it showed all of his fears, his silliness, his conflicts with life. It showed where he, felt the pains of being a black man in the world, but not being accepted, but not being accepted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just like, wow. I was like, wow. He's like, and then of course, he ends it with a joke at the end. But but to see, and then he said, just to see his talent be finally acknowledged because of that show, that meant a lot. What I'm trying to say is this, man. We all get offended by shit nowadays so easy. That's special. If you really paid attention to that special, you actually got the gist of what he was trying to say. He actually says at the beginning of this fucking special, if you actually really fucking watched it, he says, I'm about to tell you why I've told these jokes the last couple years. I'm about to let you know why I've been telling you these jokes for the last couple of years, because for some apparent reason, you guys could continuously miss the mark on what the fuck I'm telling you. And then he goes in. He's like, because this might be my last fucking special for a while. I'm dipping. I'm not coming back no time soon. So I'm going to tell you everything that you guys want to know about this special. And he goes in. And, and he just divulges into what it is. And I think that's the thing. And then at the end, of course, the joke that he has at the end, the long, and this is why I love Dave Chappelle, because he still tells stories. Yeah, it's got punchlines, but it's still a story if you're listening to it. Y'all know, if y'all watched it, I'm talking about the end of the special when he's talking about the woman, the transgender woman. And, and he just, and he's just going in, he's talking about it. And then he, says she was defending him. She was defending him hard, against her own community, and trying to tell him, like, no, I know this man. Like, he's my friend. Like, he like loves me. Like he has a lot of respect for me. He literally let me come and open up on his show. And then he was like, and sadly, she killed herself because of all of that shit. Defending me and her own community turned their backs on her. Like, that fucked her up. And I thought that was like, wow, that's interesting, man. And then, of course, like I said, he ended it with a joke. But, but just to hear that story, those are the things that you love about a comedy special like that. And you learn so many things. And even in the end of it, like all of the jokes that he told, Clifford, the Clifford joke, I don't want to give too much away, but the Clifford joke, I mean, pretty much everybody's already seen this shit. But the Clifford joke, where he was like, you know, he's a black guy with a white guy's voice and a white guy name. And he comes to he comes to restaurants and they always call the cops on him. They always call the cops on him. And then, you know, and the cops come and they always shoot him. They just always shoot him. They don't hit him. They don't kill him. But they break his heart. They make him realize, wow, like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? What did I do to deserve that? And, you know, and it's funny because he came right back around before the end of the special and was like, you know, Kevin Hart, perfect example. Like Kevin Hart, like Kevin Hart's a strong dude. He's Clifford. He's a strong dude. But when those tweets came out about what he said about the gay community and stuff, it broke his heart because he didn't get a chance to host the Oscars. And that was his dream. He said, that's what we're trying to get you to understand. Like, you guys do so much to us. We're strong. Black people, we're strong. But it's just like, y'all don't think this shit breaks our heart when you just completely don't understand where we're coming from, too. And I think that was a really cool, you know, stance on it. And of course, you know, when he's like divulging into, you know, what he was saying, like he was like, yo, man, like, if you ever listen to my jokes, I've never had a problem with gay people. My problem has been with white people. Like, he was like, my problem's been with white people. I don't know if you understood that. Like, he was like, and it was just like, and I thought that was a really cool way of looking at things because he was just like, I don't know, like verbatim what he had said, but he was like, when my people finally get ahead, when my people are finally feeling like we're equal with white people, y'all change the rules. Y'all say, okay, well, I'm about to transform. I'm about to, you know, a white man's like, I think he was like, now I'm a woman or some shit like that. And he's like, well, you there? You think you there now, nigger? I'm a woman now. What are you gonna say now? It's like, oh shit. Well, goddamn. Like, what am I supposed to do now? And I thought that was like interesting to like pretty much flip it that way. And it was just like telling you how it is. And he was just like, this is what he's always said in these specials. If you ever really looked at these specials, he's always said that how is the gay community beating black people in the equal rights race? Like he's always said that. Like, how the gay community beating black people in the equal rights race? And that was the thing. That's what he keeps saying. And people continue to just miss it. What he was saying was, a white person can't experience a black man's lifestyle or a black person's lifestyle. But a white man can be in the gay community and he can experience that lifestyle. So they're winning in that sense because they're, well, I don't want to say winning, but they're moving faster in that experience in the equal rights race, I guess, because you can't explain a black man's lifestyle. You can't explain a black person's lifestyle, but you can explain a gay person's lifestyle. And that's what he was trying to get to people. Maybe that's what I took from it. I can't really speak for him, but I know from what I took from it was what he was saying. That's what I took from it was they want to, when we are finally seen as, I guess, equals to a lot of people, you change the rules. Like, he's trying to tell you that, like, y'all guys changed the rules and you changed it and then just found new levels of still holding us back. And I think that was what he was trying to say, because there's plenty of amazing black people that are gay, but it was just like, that's what we're trying to show you. Like, because he says this in a joke, actually, in the joke, and especially he was like, you know, he runs up on a table and a white guy stands up and he sees his fingernails are painted and he's like, oh shit. And he's like, but the white guy calls the cops. He said, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. Because a black gay dude wouldn't have never done that, because he knows if he called the cops, the cops would not give a fuck who called them. They both going to jail. And I was like, wow. And that's true. And that's true. He's like, you don't give a fuck who it is. I don't give a fuck who name is Clifford. Both of your motherfuckers going to jail. And it's like, and I was like, yeah, I completely understood that. And I understand what he was saying. And a lot of people don't. And this is why I go back to where the cancel culture shit is always been misleading. I stand with a lot of shit the cancel culture do. It's just, I think you guys have a fucked up representation of how you do it. You know, I think but I'm proud of Netflix for standing with Dave. And if you don't like what I just said in this video, I can understand if you don't want to listen to me ever again. That's pretty cool. But I'm trying to divulge and tell you why a lot of people are standing with Dave in this situation, because there's a lot of things that man said in that special that you should be offended about if you're going to be offended. And he says a lot of shit you could be offended about. But, you know, it's the things that, it's the times when he's actually giving you a lesson, you get offended. And that's not good. Because that's when you're supposed to listen. That's when you're supposed to really listen. Shut up and listen. Because you scream you want allies, but then you push the people away to ask you the questions. Well, how do I be an ally? Okay, that sounds a little off, but let me explain. Let me ask you, why is that way? And that's the thing. And we do the same in our own communities. We do the same shit. We push people away when we feel like we're not being completely heard, or, you know, misrepresented the wrong way or something. So I get it, but, you know, Dave is one of those comedians. I think that one of those people, like I said earlier, like one of those people that just, he's always gonna have like support from everybody, man. Just because we know what he is saying, not trying. We know what he's saying. Yes, it's gonna be offended. You're gonna probably be offended. Okay, cool. But you gotta fight your battles. You gotta pick and choose your battles. You cannot be offended by every fucking thing. That's where you lose us a lot of times, because everybody's offended by a lot of small shit, and then when the big shit hits, we don't know if we want to be offended or if it's just like some internet chatter. Like, we don't know. So we're trying to help, but it's like, okay, we can't help for everything. You're going to have to put out some of these fires your goddamn self. You can't just continue to scream, you know, fire every 5 seconds. Like, dude, figure out how to put this shit out yourself. And when the big fire kicks in, oh shit, now the neighborhood's running to take care of this. You need the neighborhood. Sometimes the neighborhood just don't need you. So you need to figure the fuck out what it is. So I respect Dave, man. Dave is one of those comedians. And if you want a comedian to apologize for everything they doing, and every fucking stand-up special they drop, and every time they say something offensive, and if you want them to just quit and just give you what you want, an apology for everything they say in their specials and shit like that, then 9 out of 10, you're probably a Kevin Hart fan. I'm not, just be honest with you. You're probably a Kevin Hart fan, because Kevin Hart will apologize in a second because he don't want to lose them endorsement deals. But Dave Chappelle ain't got no endorsement deals because he is his own boss, and that's respectable. Because nobody's going to push me off of my mantle because I said something. That's an opinion. It was my fucking opinion, my guy. That's all it was. Just like this. This is an opinion. This is just my point of view to what I saw in that closer. In the closer, Dave Chappelle. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. I know you probably have already seen it. Go watch it again, because I'm about to go watch it again. Like I said, man, if you got offended by this, I'm not going to say sorry, but, you know, I do understand. But at the same time, it's a lot of things in life that we all get offended by nowadays, that if you take the time and actually step back and understand, why am I offended really? And if you can't really point it out, don't even send it. Don't even start that shit. If you can't point it out, then don't start it. But if you are offended and you do feel some type of way, I'm always open for a conversation. So, thank you. And it's been the Brian Janu Show. And I'm out. Peace.